What is the rule in the army? You obey lawful orders from your superiors, isn't it?
Yes, you obey lawful orders.
Would Yaya Jammeh do that?
Well, he has some problems with it. He has some problems with certain officers.
Can you tell us how you came to know Yaya Jammeh?
Bruise my attire, and then cleaning my boot and so on.
Major Suare was a dedicated and skilled officer who played a significant role in the Gambia Gendarmerie during its formative years. With his proficiency in both English and French, he bridged the communication gap between the Gambian recruits and the Senegalese training team, who primarily spoke French and Wolof. His ability to translate effectively made him an invaluable asset to the team. However, his career faced challenges when the Senegalese trainers departed, and a new Gambian commander took charge. Despite his contributions and leadership, Major Suare was demoted to second lieutenant by the new commander, allegedly for questioning authority. Refusing to accept this injustice, he appealed to the office of the president, who intervened and reinstated his rank as lieutenant. Major Suare's story reflects his resilience, commitment to fairness, and no-nonsense approach to leadership, qualities that defined his service in the Gambia Gendarmerie.
I, Amadou Suare,
swear that I'll speak the truth,
swear that I'll speak the truth,
the whole truth,
the whole truth,
and nothing but the truth.
and nothing but the truth.
Good morning, Mr. Witness. Can you kindly tell the commission your full names, please?
My name is Amadou Armiao Suare.
Can you tell us your date of birth, please?
I was born in February 18, 1956 in Bakau.
And where did you attend school?
I attended primary school at the French school on Hill Street.
After finishing French school at Hill Street, which other schools did you attend?
I proceeded to Kaolack to do my secondary school on October 10, 1970.
And you said you attended French school. Therefore, the medium of instruction of your schooling in the early days was in French, right?
Yes, sir.
And when did you finish your schooling in Senegal?
I finished my schooling in Senegal in 1981.
You said you finished schooling in Senegal in 1981. What was the highest level of education you attained in Senegal?
Well, it was first year at the University of Dakar.
What course were you pursuing at the University of Dakar?
I was pursuing English and linguistics.
What did you do when you returned to the Gambia in 1981?
Well, in November 1st, 1982, I joined the newly formed Gambia Gendarmerie.
Can you tell us briefly what was the structure of the Gambian Gendarmerie when it was established in November 1982?
Well, in November 1982, the Gendarmerie was an embryo because it was not fully formed, because it was formed by former field force and the new recruits. The real Gendarmerie came up around 1984-85 when we were on French, when we started having Gambian officers, trained officers in the Gendarmerie. But we had on mainly 3 units. Then that was the guard unit, we call it security unit, the mobile Gendarmerie, which was responsible for riot control and other stadium duties, and crowd control in general. And we have the presidential guard. But by then, the presidential guard was manned by the Senegalese Gendarmerie, because there was not yet trained personnel to do it.
At the outset, who was the commander of the Gendarmerie?
Well, at the inception, Commander Pateh Secka was the commander of the Gambia Gendarmerie. He was a Senegalese. As we all know, the Gendarmerie is a French outfit. We don't have it in the English system. Maybe we have something similar to it in Canada, where we have the mounted police, which looks like a little bit like the Gendarmerie. Colonel Pateh Secka was the commander. It's after the end of the Confederation that we have Colonel Ndaunjai, who came as an interim commander for a brief period. Then we have Pasala Jagne, who became the commander of the Gendarmerie.
Prior to the departure of the Senegalese, can you tell us how the Gendarmerie evolved, how it developed up to the time the Senegalese departed?
Well, the Gendarmerie was, as I said, at the inception, we had a Senegalese Gendarmerie training team. Okay, the training of the Gendarmerie was a bit different from the police, because in the Gendarmerie, the training was 4 months of infantry training, military training, infantry training, and 6 months of professional training, where you train somehow as a police officer. All police duties are done during the professional training.
When did you finish your recruit training in the Gendarmerie?
1983.
And after you completed the recruit training, what position did you hold in the Gendarmerie?
Well, I was a private doing guard duties, and I've been used as a translator for the Senegalese command from French to English, English to French. Then in September, I was promoted to cadet officer and sent to Morocco for an officer's course.
And when did you finish that officer's course?
I finished the officer's course in July 1984.
Who do you recall the officers or the Gendarmerie recruits with whom you did the initial training?
Well, the initial training of the Gendarmerie, I did it with Chongan, Ebrima Chongan, Maba Job, Modou Gueye, Touro Jagne, Ibrahima Kamara, well, just a few.
And after you finished your training in Morocco, did you attend any further trainings in the Gendarmerie?
Yes, in 85, I attended a territorial Gendarmerie training in Senegal for 2 months with the first elements of the Gambia Gendarmerie to man the stations to be created.
The introduction of the Gendarmerie in the Gambia, a turning point in policing. Following his basic recruit training, he, along with a pioneering group of recruits, was dispatched to Senegal for on-the-job training at various Gendarmerie stations. This journey was not merely a career milestone, It marked the beginning of a significant transformation in the Gambia's approach to law enforcement. At that time, the Gambia had no gendarmerie institutions of its own. Traditionally, Gambian policing had adhered strictly to the British model, rooted in colonial legacy and characterized by civilian police structures. In sharp contrast, the gendarmerie represents a fundamentally French concept, a paramilitary force trained for both policing and military duties, blending civil order maintenance with national security responsibilities. Since the Gambia had never established such an institution, local recruits needed to travel to Senegal, where the gendarmerie was long established, for practical exposure and training. This cross-border training was not incidental. In the wake of the failed 1981 coup, the Gambia turned to Senegalese expertise to help reshape its security architecture, introducing the gendarmerie model as a means to strengthen state resilience. The first Gambian recruits, therefore, were not just trainees, they were the architects of a new era, tasked with transplanting and adapting a foreign policing tradition to local realities. Their Senegalese mentors provided both technical know-how and an ethos of discipline and community engagement that would come to redefine Gambian law enforcement. The integration of the gendarmerie into the Gambia's security landscape illustrates how nations can learn from each other in times of crisis, blending legal frameworks and operational philosophies. The experience of these first recruits stands as a testament to adaptability and the enduring impact of international cooperation in shaping national institutions.
Where specifically in Senegal did you do this training?
It was a practical training in different gendarmerie stations. We had some in Wakam, in Dakarville Sans.
That would be Plateau, right?
Plateau, yeah. We have Anne. We went to Anne, we went to Charoy Gar, Rufis, Brigade Rufis, Brigade Mboro, Brigade Mbour, Brigade Chess, and Brigade Mehe.
And what did you do after the training?
When we came back, I was transferred to the mobile gendarmerie, and Chongan headed the territorial gendarmerie.
What did your responsibilities entail as commander of the mobile gendarmerie?
My responsibility as commander of the gendarmerie, one was the continuous training of the troops on riot drill, peacekeeping, fighting in build-up areas, tactics in general, and maintaining the morale of the troops.
At this stage, what was your rank in the gendarmerie?
My rank in the gendarmerie was lieutenant.
Did you remain in that position until 1994?
No. I've been promoted to captain before 94, but at one point I was demoted from lieutenant to second lieutenant.
Can you tell us a bit about that?
What happened is when President Jagne was brought as the commander of the Gambia Gendarmerie, he came from a different institution, which is the army, with different tradition, which was more of a British tradition. And we in the gendarmerie, we had a military tradition, but which was more just to a French tradition. So there was a split of command. The way he wanted to command the gendarmerie as the army, we had some resentment about it, because we know what we were doing, and he didn't know what we know as gendarmerie officers. That has brought some conflict between us.
Did you have a problem of discipline in the forces?
It was not, I would say, a problem of discipline, but a problem of principles.
What principles? Could you expand a little bit on that?
Well, as an officer, although it is said obey and complain, that's what is generally, that's what people hear, obey and complain, that's what is in the army or in the forces. But being a senior officer is a bit different, because you cannot just obey and complain when you receive a perceived illegal order or a misplaced order, because you've been trained to take up your responsibilities. That's what we call the intelligent bayonets. Like I said, a knife with two sharps. You take your responsibility at one point. If it is good, you are rewarded. If you made a mistake on taking the wrong way, you are punished. It's the same thing when we take reference of the Nuremberg trial. People were saying that they received orders to do during Hitler time and so on. That didn't stop them from being punished, and they were obeying orders.
Was it really a question of junior officers accepting the command that was coming from their immediate superiors?
It was not refusing the command. It is what the orders entailed. It was, well, the procedures were different, as I said. In the Gendarmerie and the army, the procedures are different. And he didn't know the Gendarmerie procedure. He was not trained as a Gendarmerie officer. Obviously, he will not know exactly how things work. That was the main problem. We were officers on the ground. We know how things work.
But as an officer in the Gendarmerie at the time, were you known for any particular characteristics?
Yes.
Tell us, please.
I was known to be myself. That I will not take anything that is not, I don't believe in it. As I said, I have this principle of the intelligent bayonets. That is, I take my responsibilities, especially when it is an oral order.
Would you say you were also known for being stubborn?
People may take it like that.
But what do you think?
Tommy is a principled person.
But you would also agree that by being that principled, you are also stubborn.
Well, it depends on the definitions, you know. Everyone has his own concept.
I wanted to judge it by your own concept and your own view of things. Would you say you are stubborn?
I may say yes.
And you had problems with your command officer, and he recommended that you be demoted from lieutenant to second lieutenant. How did you handle that?
Well, I handled it professionally.
Tell us what you did.
Well, I wrote a petition to the Ministry of Defense, to the Minister of Defense, who was then the president, through the Permanent Secretary of Defense, for my case to be reviewed. And it happened that there was no basis for my demotion, because there was nothing that can be quoted for my demotion from the Armed Forces Act. Maybe they wanted to call me down, as maybe I was stubborn. They wanted to show me the stick.
What would eventually happen to your petition?
My petition was accepted. I was reinstated as a lieutenant and paid all my back pay.
Would you subsequently rise in rank?
Yes, after my training in Turkey, I rose in rank to a captain.
As at the time, the Senate, by 1994, what rank did you have?
I was having the captain rank, but being in the police, the captain rank was equivalent to superintendent of police.
Can you tell us how the Gendarmerie morphed into the police?
Well, in 93, when the amalgamation took place, the amalgamation between the police and the army, few Gendarmerie officers went to the army, and the majority of the Gendarmerie officers remained with the police, and the Gendarmerie was turned to be the tactic group of the police. They remain almost intact, but the name changed from Gendarmerie to Tactical Support Group.
You indicated that a few Gendarmerie officers would move into the army. Could you tell us who these people were?
Well, we have Yaya Jammeh, Sadibu Hydara, Sergeant Jagne, almost the whole military police unit went to the army.
Which Yaya Jammeh are you referring to?
The former president.
Can you tell us how you came to know Yaya Jammeh?
Well, when I returned back from Morocco on course in 1984, then what we call the 12-12 batch, the Yaya Jammeh's batch, and Bajo and others, they were on professional training. Then I was I was an instructor at the training school on tactics and peacekeeping. I came to know him through there. When they passed out, and it meant that I was the commander of the mobile Gendarmerie. He was my clerk, company clerk. Then he was very close to me, because being my company clerk, we are almost 18 hours together, because even to pick my lunch from Bakau to the barracks, he used to do it. And we used to brew attire and clean my boots.
And run your errands.
Yes.
Tell us how he was as a junior officer in the army. Gendarmerie, excuse me.
Well, he was what we call it strong-headed, and I will use the word that.
Could you go again, please?
He was very strong-headed, and I will use the word stubborn.
Like you?
Yeah, maybe that's why we could cope.
Did he have problems with discipline?
Well, he has some problems with discipline with certain officers, but never with me.
Was he the officer who would readily accept orders from superiors?
depending on the officer giving the orders.
What is the rule in the army? You obey lawful orders from your superiors, isn't it?
Yes, you obey lawful orders from your superiors.
Would Yaya Jammeh do that?
Well, he has some problems with it. He has some problems with certain officers.
Was it really a problem with certain officers, or was it a general attitude of not respecting orders from above?
He do respect orders from, as I said, from, he has a perception which is a bit different from orders. Because he was termed a little bit rude. And as we said, he was not that inclined on receiving orders.
He was indisciplined.
Yes.
Tell us more about the relationship you had with him.
Well, as I said, I used to spend with him more than the normal 8-9 hours that is allocated for work. As I said, even after work, we used to be together, he brews my attire, and then cleaning my boots and so on. And we have this relationship between Jola and Fullers. We have all these things, and we are a bit close. His family in Bakau, the Jammeh family, and my family, we were very intimate, related.
Microphone, please. Did you call each other names?
Yes, I used to call him son.
Would he also call you his son?
He does. Sometimes he calls me son. It's just as I said, between Jola and Fullers.
And you were his superior officer by far. He had no problems calling you son.
No, but if he's doing that, if he's calling me son, it will be in public. I can do it in public, but he cannot do it. He doesn't do it to me in public.
And Yaya Jammeh went to the army together with military police and Sadibu Hydara. You became police officers, and and TSG, Tactical Support Group. Where were you based as a member of the Tactical Support Group?
Well, the main barracks of the Tactical Support Group was Fajara Barracks.
But during this period, what responsibilities did you have within the Tactical Support Group?
Well, after the amalgamation in July, I was posted in Yundum as commanding officer of Western Division up to December 1993. I was reposted January 2nd, 1994. As operations officer.
Tell us about your time at Yundum as commanding officer for Western Division.
Well, during that time, I was responsible from Katong, the whole of Western Division. So there was an incident in Pirang about fare increase with the drivers and so on. It was a long protracted. The commissioner of Western Division was involved. Then it was at one point the DIG, who was Kapi Juf, got involved. Even press, who became the Inspector General of Police, got involved. So one day the people of Pirang, they blocked the road And I instructed my OC to arrest the ringleaders, which he did and brought them to Brikama police station. Okay, then within Pirang itself, within that constituency, there was a problem between the PPP itself, because there was a young guy, a rising star from the PPP. He was called Yankuba Touray, and the representative of the PPP then was Kity Jabang, who was then the Minister of Interior. He was away. That Yankuba Touray came to the station and negotiated for the bail of those arrested. Bail was granted. At the return of the minister from his travel, he felt, that's my own perspective, he felt that the young man has some points in his absence getting those people released. And unfortunately for them, they called me on quarter deck. Myself, my SO, DIG Kapiju and Press Jagne at the minister's office in Dobson Street.
And this minister, you said he was Kity Jabang, Minister of Interior.
Yes.
He would at that time be responsible for the police, would he not?
Yes.
What happened when you went to quarterdeck?
When I went to quarterdeck, first I was just to go and answer the minister. But when I knew why I went there, I asked first my SO to get out of the room. He was not supposed to be there as long as I am there, because I am the one who gave him orders and he obeys my orders. Then the minister started talking his political thing here and there, all those things. At the end of the day, Kapi wanted to answer. I told him, Kapi, no, I'm sorry, sir, you shouldn't answer. I will answer, because I am the one who is called. Press wanted to say something. I told him, no, sir, you have nothing to say because you brought me here. If you wanted to tell me something, wanted to say something, you arrange it with the minister, then you call me quarterdeck at your office. Because as long as I am present, I am the one to talk. And I told the minister clearly that what he's saying, I didn't agree with it. That I'm a professional. The ranks that I have, we are not political. I'm a professional, I was trained, and I reminded him a problem that he had in Morocco in 1984 during the Islamic conference about me. Because when I was in Morocco on course from September to February, I didn't receive any allowances. Then he was the Minister of Foreign Affairs then, and it was on his preview. I used then the colonel who was the military attaché at the Senegalese embassy, who was the commanding officer of the restoring the Senegalese troop when they entered the Gambia during the 1981 rebellion. I used him to get access to President Jawara to know my problems. And Kuti was not happy about it. He felt that, well, I backstabbed him. But I was doing what I am supposed to do to get my money.
Would you, microphone please, microphone. Would you say that you had a good relationship with him, Kity Jabang?
I have no relation with him because he's a minister, I'm a police officer. I'm not under his command, I'm under the command of the IG. If he needs something, let him talk to the IG. He doesn't need to talk to me.
Did you have good views about the PPP government at the time?
Well, my views were neutral as everybody, because we all, by then, there was a perception of corruption. And when Teku Sabally and the Detroit newspaper, when they went to court and all those things, then as Minister of Agriculture, he was later promoted to Vice President, all those things. We are all human beings.
Did you share that perception that the PPP government was corrupt?
Of course I do.
And in 1994,
if you don't mind, Deputy has a point to make. Please go ahead.
I just want a clarification on the names. Are we talking about Kuti Sanyang or are we talking about Kity Jabang? Because I seem to get some.
Okay. The one who was Minister of Foreign Affairs, then Minister of Interior. Okay. Then that's, yeah.
Its full name is Lamin Kity Jabang. Lamin Kity Jabang, and the other is Landing Kuti Sanyang.
My bad.
Proceed.
Please proceed, Counsel. Thank you.
By 1994, you were operations commander at the TSG at Fajara Barracks. That's what you said, right?
Correct.
What were your responsibilities at the time?
My responsibilities, part of it was to supervise, the armory was under me to supervise all movements of arms and ammunition and movements of troops, as well as deployment of troops, as well as training, continuous training of the troops.
Can you tell us about the structure of the police force as at this time?
Well, the TSG was, I would say, remained a little bit as an entity, different from the general duties. Although we have some TSG officers who were in the stations as Gendarmerie, former gendarmes who were in the stations, they went directly to the general duties, to the police general duties. The remaining stays at the barracks as TSG officers. We continue the Gendarmerie work with a different name. That is, we were getting ready for riot drills, for riot security, for VIPs and important installations, so on, when crowd control and others.
Who was responsible for guarding the president?
It was the TSG.
And those responsible for guarding the president, did they have a different name?
No, we call them the Presidential Guard, but they are from the TSG.
And who was the overall commander of the police at the time?
Pasala Jagne.
Do you know who were his immediate subordinates?
Yes. It was Kapijuf, Chongan, Boli.
Boli who?
Bolisar.
Chongan who?
Ebrima Chongan.
And who was the immediate deputy?
It was Kapijuf.
Would he be, what's his full name? Is it Jibril Juf? Do you know his first name, his real first name? I think Kapi is basically a nickname.
Kapi is a nickname because of, I don't know, I think because of football or athletics.
Athletics.
But I cannot recall his real name, frankly.
And below Kapi Juf, you have who?
You have Chongan and Boli, Sar.
And what were their positions?
Chongan was AIG, Bolisar too was AIG, That's Assistant Inspector General of Police.
Did they have different responsibilities?
Of course they do.
What was Chongan responsible for?
Chongan was responsible more for operations at the police, and Boli was more responsible for administration.
And the TSG, who was the overall commander?
And then it was Touray Jagne.
And who were his immediate deputies?
I was his immediate deputy.
And you are responsible for operations, as you said earlier?
Sir?
At this stage, what was the strength of the TSG in or the police in general in terms of arms?
The TSG was the most armed, was the armed wing of the police, and what we had were only AK-47s, SKS, those are semi-automatic rifles, Chinese, some Chinese LMGs, and
what
some
are LMGs?
Light machine guns, and some grenade launchers, but tear gas grenade launchers.
As a TSG officer, were you satisfied with the types and level of arms the TSG had?
I was not satisfied.
Why?
Because in the missions of the TSG, then we have internal security. This was part of it, because normally when something happens in the country, the army shouldn't come out. Everything should be done by the police, especially when it comes to armed conflict. It should be the TSG. It is when they are overcome that, well, when they feel that they cannot do it, that's when they call the army for assistance. The army is geared for external aggressions, so let's call it external aggressions. And as I said, we were not armed enough to fight any insurgency.
Do you recall what was the security situation in the country as of July 1994?
Well, as of July 1994, the general security of the country was calm, but within the services, there are recruitment. Because we witnessed, let's call it, 2 demonstrations from the army personnel for their pay from Liberia and so on. Then we had...
Microphone. Before you delve further into that, would you call those demonstrations as mutinies?
Well, you can call it mutiny over pay.
All right.
Yeah.
To go on, there were 2 mutinies or 2 demonstrations over pay. Before we delve into the presence of the Nigerian army, perhaps you want to talk about those 2 demonstrations or those 2 mutinies, when they occurred, what were the problems and how they were addressed?
Well, I would say, frankly, the first mutiny met me in Turkey. The second mutiny, I was just from Turkey. I was on leave. I was not even on active duty.
Do you know how those mutinies were quelled?
Yes, I know the history.
Would you be kind enough to tell us?
Well, my understanding that they were been stopped at Denton Bridge by the then Gendarmerie.
Stopped how? By force of arms?
Yes, because they were not armed.
On both occasions, on both mutinies, the soldiers were not armed.
That's what I heard. I was not here.
And besides those mutinies, you started talking about the presence of the Nigerians. Could you expand on that?
Yes. The presence of the Nigerians has brought some resentment. Within the Gambian army. Because the Nigerian team was not a training team, it was a command team.
What do you mean by that? That it was a command team and not a training team?
Yes. What I meant by that is all the strategic commands were positions were headed by Nigerians, and what we may call the crop of the Gambian then senior officers were just dumped at the army headquarters.
Did they have any command responsibilities?
No.
Who were the most senior Gambian officers with some command responsibility?
Well, then the crop of the senior Gambian army was more like Captain Fai, Laikonte, Baji, and how to call it again, Jata, and they were all at the army headquarters. Well, Fai was at that time, 94, he was on training in the US. And Lai too was out of the country.
The question I asked is, were there, in fact, any Gambian soldiers who had some command responsibility?
I cannot recall.
How about the lieutenants in the army? Were they too at staff headquarters?
No, because as you know, lieutenants are junior officers. So they were, because you cannot get rid of all those people and command the troops. Because the Nigerians, they were at top, they were company commanders, battalion commanders.
How about platoon commanders? Who were the platoon commanders?
They were Gambians.
What were their ranks?
Normally, lieutenant, second lieutenants.
So, would you therefore say that the lieutenants really were the most senior Gambians who had some command responsibility?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us about the talk that was going on within or among soldiers and members of the security forces at around that time in 1994?
Well, as we all know, the Gambia is a small country. That the places we go are not that many. Because the way that we will see the Nigerians, that was that they are living very large. We see them in the clubs, the way they spend money, you know, and all those things create resentment from the other officers. Not that, because at the end of the day you have some nationalistic sentiments. Those were very important, and it was neglected.
What were these nationalistic sentiments you refer to?
Well, these sentiments felt that their country was being taken over by the Nigerians.
Did they accept that without complaint?
Those were one of the complaints. That's why I said this brought some resentment.
Did that resentment result into anything?
I may say it plays a big part on the 22nd July coup, 1994. It has a big part of it.
You suggesting that that was one of the reasons why junior officers overthrew the PPP government in 1994?
Correct.